This is Don't Panic, episode number 250, recorded August 12th, 2019. Sestercentennial. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and who else but you. I am Sean Jennings, joined as always by two guys who have somehow survived 250 hours with me. It is Colby Rabidou and Dan Miller. Gentlemen, welcome back. Good evening.
What's up?
Howdy, howdy.
I feel like we should have called the gadgets the internet and us.
And it really is.
Mostly,
it's
that's what
basically all about us.
Yeah. Our hijinks.
Do you know I still get charged for the damn phone number we never use, and I just have not gotten around to canceling it?
Classic.
What a waste.
We still pay $50 a year for that sweet .io domain name.
That's true. I believe, although I think this is the year I finally canceled it, I was still paying for changemo.de, so I think we're very bad at canceling our recurring charges.
Change mode.
Yep. So if anyone wants to buy it off me, it's very cheap. You can have it. We're not using it. What's going on, guys?
I'm trying to log into Amazon to figure out what my pick is.
Okay, that's good. Starting early.
Yep.
It's been a couple weeks since we were last together.
I know. We had some emergency skips.
We did. We were on a roll there. We did like 5 or 6 in a row, and then we just kind of took a holiday. We took a summer holiday.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Have you guys actually been able to get out and enjoy any of the summer this summer? Because I feel like I haven't. I feel like I've barely been outside, which is good. I like that, but, you know.
I went fishing on a boat this weekend in the ocean.
Huh?
Yes.
Why?
I caught 6 fish. None of them were large enough to keep, so they are all still in the ocean.
What kind of fish?
Some were fluke.
So some you didn't mean to catch.
Yes,
some of you just got lucky.
Exactly.
Okay, but what
No,
kind
they're
of
the
fish
flat
were they?
ones. They're the ones that have eyes on one side, both eyes on one side.
Okay.
And then some were sea robins, which are weird looking, and yeah, they kind of look like birds, but fish.
Are you sure you weren't like at a carnival where you pay to like, if you get the little duck out of the pond, you win a prize?
I don't know. It's unclear.
It sounds very suspicious, but
like anything could.
I think that's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was sort of fun.
I just got back from the great wilderness of Rochester, New York.
Whoa, and you survived?
And I survived.
Damn.
It was a whole 10 degrees cooler up there. Felt pretty nice. Yeah, that's about it. Went to a wedding. Then I was sick. And then I was tired. So tired.
We were all together, all 3 of us, at co-host and friend of the show Matt's wedding.
I mean, that's right. We haven't done a show since then.
Yep, we were so sick of seeing each other that we needed a break.
Yeah, we saw each other in person for like 12 hours, and it was too much.
Shut it down. And we had a very nice time, I thought.
I had fun. It was at Wachusett Mountain, a place I've been dozens of times before, but never for a wedding.
We dramatically missed the chairlift.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
I will say it was a lot of fun. It was great to see you. It was good to see Matt. I mean, Matt got married. Matt's the co-host of Up for Debate, illustrious
And Game
co-host.
Nights.
Mm-hmm.
And Game Nights.
Which does still exist,
Right.
technically.
Erstwhile Dungeon Master,
And
Matt Mariani.
And we met some fans.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, wait, we need to schedule Mike onto the show.
Yeah, Mike Kurtz, a good friend, fan of the show, was there.
Yeah.
It was
Previous guest TJ was there.
Yep. Remember when we used to have guests? I'd love to look back and see the last time we had a guest on the show. Episode
I
12.
prefer not to.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was great. Getting you city guys out into the country.
Yeah, so all that said, I feel like I have between Rochester and that wedding and Fire Island. Next week is Pittsburgh, or rather this weekend is Pittsburgh. The weekend after that, I'm going camping. The weekend after that, I'm going back upstate. The weekend after that, I'm going to St. Louis. The weekend after that, I'm going home to visit my mom.
Wow.
Ooh. I'm going to stop complaining about how busy my summer is because Dan's is way busier.
All right, Dan, let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is the best place you've ever visited outside of New England?
In the world?
Give me a world answer and give me a U.S. answer. Because you've
The
traveled a lot.
U.S. answer is easier.
Okay.
I feel like easily Colorado.
Okay.
Oregon was fun too, but I think Colorado takes the cake. What was the word you used? Most fun?
No.
Best?
No, the best. The
The
overall best. Like, if I was like, Dan, I just won a trip on The Price is Right and I can pick any place to go, where would you send me?
Where would I send you?
Okay, I should say a generic person. I'm very different.
Oh, no. I need some constraints.
Pick me. The guy who doesn't want to go anywhere.
I think you would like Ireland because it's pretty naturally beautiful, but it's not that sunny and hot.
Everyone there speaks English.
Everybody speaks English, precise, pretty small. And I don't know, you're a man who likes beer. There's lots of interesting beer things to do there. I think it's not typically a vacation that, unless you're gonna go to the Dublin clubs, it's not something that gets really, that's not why people go to Ireland. So I would recommend Ireland for just anyone. I don't know. I will say my favorite place probably was Berlin, but I don't think it's a place that you would like, Sean.
I understand that. I did really like London. Was actually one of the few places I've been traveling that I actually did like. I wish I could have spent more time.
Yeah, I am been told by many people that I got the wrong impression of London, so I'm not going to weigh in.
What impression did you get?
That it was too big and just kind of, just like New York, but worse. Sorry, Londoners. But I am told by people that I respect a great deal that is the incorrect take. And so that I experienced London incorrectly.
Is it like New York, but better? Is it not like New York at all?
I would say that it is possible to experience a London where it's not like New York at all, and I did not do that.
I see.
Yeah, because you live in New York, so that's kind of, for me, it was a thrill because it was like, oh, it's like New York here, but kind of different. Like, I can handle that. That's approachable for me.
The people are mean in a really different way where it seems like they're being nice.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, everything here is so clean and respectful.
Nice.
I got disabused of that notion in my first hour of London, where I took the train from the airport to the city, and then I was taking a bus from there to where I need to go, and a guy got off the bus, dropped his trousers, and peed as soon as he got off the bus.
That's awesome.
Right in front of me.
That's local.
At like 11 a.m.
Whew. Yeah.
That's local flavor.
Yeah. Sure, I guess they piss and vinegar or something? Is that what they put in the fish and chips?
Yes. Sure. Yep.
They gotta get it somewhere.
Well, that would be what I recommend. Why do you ask? Is this just a fun question?
Yeah,
just a vacation.
You're one of the more traveled individuals I know. Again, I once had somebody look at your Instagram page and they said, "Wow, this guy seems really cool." And I said, no, it's one of those Instagram things. I mean, he is, but it's one of those Instagram things where it's like he only posts the interesting parts of his life. So it's a little...
Yeah, and as a result, I post, like, if it weren't for my April of posting pictures, I would have posted probably twice this year.
Yep. If you saw mine, it would just be pictures of animals. That's my entire Instagram.
I feel like there's a couple of different Instagram, like, genres. There's, like, me, I post pictures of landscapes. You post pictures of animals. There's a lot of people like both of us.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty much all I log on for. And selfies. I think selfies is kind of a...
I don't know if I know any Instagram selfiers though. Like that seemed like a Facebook, Snapchat stories kind of thing. Not a Instagram, like, you
It's a
think
thing.
so? The thing? Am I not following the right people?
Yeah. There's also like the couple version of selfies is like people post pictures of each other, which is like a selfie, but you're in a pair, so you don't have to take the picture yourself.
They put wait, hang on, explain this. They post pictures of each other, but not
Yeah, or together,
not
or they do a selfie together. But like that's a thing.
Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
very
I know a
common.
lot of
posting.
people.
So
like that.
it's just like people who are in a partnership of some kind. They post pictures of the other person.
End of
Yeah,
themselves
or like
together.
Or themselves together. Okay.
Right.
But taking it just a picture of the other person is not uncommon.
Correct.
Yes.
Interesting.
Like, or the other person doing a thing is like, wow, we're eating ice cream right now. Boom. Selfie. Sort of.
Instagram post?
Yeah.
Man,
I've seen
clearly
that.
have a lot to learn.
You got broaden your circle. Now I have. Maybe I should ask you guys. Have you ever seen an Instagram, like followed someone on Instagram and then like been worried about them? Because there's someone, and I won't call them out. There's an individual who I follow on Instagram who only posts pictures of them at breweries drinking beer flights. And I'm kind of getting worried because I know there are a lot of breweries out there, but they're always at a different one, and I don't know how this is possible. It's too much.
Yeah.
And it's like every weekend.
Gotta have
that's-
hobbies, I guess.
Yes, that's some people's hobby. I don't know,
Not
man.
healthy, man.
I don't know.
Maybe that's what you should be, experimenting with for your diet.
Drinking more beer?
Yeah.
I tried. It didn't. That's the problem. Again, I go on the diet and then I end up just drinking more beer. Because what I do is, and this is true because I'm on a diet, I can't do it. So on a normal week, I'll have like beer one night a week, maybe two. But then it's like, oh, that's right, I'm on a diet, so I have like Coors Light or like a light beer. I can have one every
Diet
night, and it's like, but I wouldn't have drinking this much anyway. You know, that's like, I was like, oh, if I just have like a handful of pretzels instead of eating out of the bag, but it's like I probably wouldn't have eaten pretzels if I hadn't thought I can eat less of them. It's a weird problem to have. I'm not a normal person.
Yeah. Ah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't. Here's my gripe with Instagram. There are some people I follow on Instagram who I exclusively want to get their story, and there are some people or accounts. Let's broadly say accounts. And there are some people I follow on Instagram who I only want to get their posts, but there's no way for me to do that. And I have I can't, if there's like a red dot, I have to click it and make it go away. So like I watch everyone's story all the time.
Wait, where is there a red dot?
It's not a red dot, but like the circles are highlighted up at the top.
Oh, I do not watch everyone's story.
Good for you. You shouldn't. It's
And
terrible.
I've only once ever seen the little thing that says, "You're all caught up" on Instagram.
Oh, really? How many people
I
do
love
you
that
follow?
thing.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I just I follow 376 people.
That's a lot. I'm only at 130. I need more friends.
I mean, maybe you're doing it right, though, because I definitely miss stuff. But because of this, I like Twitter. I like the relevant tweets, relevant posts first thing. I will say when I'm watching something like the debates, I turn it on to most recent tweets first, but usually I like that better. And it works for Instagram, too.
I think Instagram,
I'm not a completionist.
I think Instagram's algorithm works really well. I give them a lot of credit because, like in the stories, for example, I don't know how it works if you open all of them, but if you only open some of them all the time, it'll like put the ones you open most often first and the ones you never open last.
Interesting.
And that
Maybe-
works great.
Maybe that's what I need to do. Is start training it instead of trying to fight the system.
Yep, because there are some accounts like I
Are
only
you
want to
training
read...
it, or is it training you?
Oh no, it's learning.
That's the question. Always the question. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know, Dan. But Instagram, how do we get here?
Well, we are segueing into our tech news of the week, I imagine.
We sure are, Dan. Thanks for that. While you guys are perusing we got like 3 weeks worth of news here to talk about. While you pick a story, I want to thank everybody who's watching us live right now on Facebook at facebook.com/don'tpanicshow and on Twitch at twitch.tv/don'tpanicshow. If you're watching us live, thank you. We do it Monday nights about 10:15 Eastern. Please comment. We'll be watching all show long, and we may bring up your comments on the show. All right, guys. So much to discuss.
Just so you know, Sean, I added one story, and I have another one that I think we should talk about.
Okay. Well, I know the one you added was kind of a late-breaking story, which is great. I'm glad you've added it. And whatever you got... Hey, look. You guys steer the ship here, okay? You are the captains of this show.
Now, okay, so then here's something I want to talk to you about this, Sean, because I think you'll have an interesting take.
Okay, great.
The thing with Microsoft's, at least I'm pretty sure it's Microsoft's, live streaming service, Mixer, paying the ninja guy from Twitch $1 bajillion to stream on their platform, even though no one uses their platform. And even though he, from the reports I read, took a pretty big viewership hit. And I imagine just a direct revenue from a streaming hit as a result, probably the bazillions of dollars he was given aside. So, I've read stories about how maybe this is a play by Microsoft to build a media platform before they launch their new... Can you believe we've been doing this show for an entire video game generation? Before they launch their new next generation video game console. But to me, it seemed like, his whole business is his brand and being famous and having people. I don't know what to compare it to.
I know exactly what to compare it to.
Oh, what would you compare it to?
I know you guys are big Zion Williamson fans.
Who?
Zion Williamson?
I really don't know who that is.
The Duke basketball star recently drafted #1 overall into the NBA, now going to play on the New Orleans Pelicans. The reason I bring him up is because him and several of the other college stars going to the NBA, there was a big talk around shoe deals. It's all about the shoe deal and the shoe money. And apparently, was it...
Gotta get into Big Shoe.
On it, well, you laugh, but I think it was a Chinese company that no one's ever heard of, and was it Puma or Adidas was going to offer him more, and he took less money to go with Nike and the Air Jordan brand, because of the name cachet that went with it, and to be part of the Nike family. That's to me a good analogy for this, where. It's more about the person. You buy the person to use your platform. You buy the person to use your shoes. That's essentially what you're doing. And if Mixer wants to get on the map and you've got Microsoft money, you get the biggest guy out there to come and use your platform.
Oh, that makes sense to me. But he is making $1 million a year, from what I read, or more.
Sure.
And it seems to me like he would be putting in jeopardy. What I would be worried about is that the reason that I can make $1 million a year, which in my mind is worth, I don't know how much he was given, but I can't imagine it was $50 million, right? The ability to make $1 million a year is more important to me. You'd have to offer me a pretty big sum of money for me to jeopardize that, or be like, well, maybe I won't make $1 million a year anymore. And because it's such a flash in the pan pop culture thing, or if you're just out of it for a while over streaming on Mixer to 50,000 people instead of your normal 500,000, I would worry that I'd lose some of those sponsorships. I wouldn't get invited onto This Morning America and all the other stuff he did.
Well, maybe another take on it is like you said, it's a flash in the pan sort of in vogue, he's the fancy boy right now, but will he be the fancy boy for I know nothing about this person. Will he be that popular indefinitely? Maybe not. So I don't know. If Microsoft offers you $7 million, I don't know. I also don't know how much money it was, but if they offer you a good chunk of change right now, maybe it's worth it to take, just because
it could all be
guaranteed, right? A guaranteed many $1 million is it's a sure thing rather than maybe you continue to make $1 million a year forever.
Well,
But I don't know.
And I sort of think about this idea where it's and YouTubers now I've read are facing a similar problem with is are they owned by the platform, right? Can they be successful in places that aren't YouTube? Some have been. I can't honestly. I never know any of these people's names, but I know there are like a few big cooking stars on YouTube who have now published cookbooks and they've sort of branded outside of YouTube. I like to think, and I think it's none of us would argue, Ninja is the biggest name in esports. The one with the biggest crossover appeal, at least, to people who don't know stuff about... If you know any esports gamer, you know this guy. And so that is the one guy who I think can get away with switching. And it reminds me a lot of actors, where you think of child actors, and we all watch Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, and we're like, this guy's never going to have a career after this. He's just going to be Harry Potter forever. And no, he ended up turning into, a great actor, and he's been in many other things. But for every Daniel Radcliffe, there's a Haley Joel Osment or a Macaulay Culkin who never really did anything after their young success. So I give him credit for being willing to branch out and prove to everyone that he's more than just the Twitch guy. He's his own brand, and you have to be able to do that on places that aren't Twitch.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work for him. I mean, I'm sure he crunched the numbers, and whatever Microsoft's paying him has to be something good. You also have to remember, Microsoft has a broader reach. They own Xbox. And so I would think, again, I don't know the deal they struck, there's got to be more cross-marketing opportunities for him in the Microsoft family than there is in the Twitch family. That's just a guess. I'm sure he'll be at E3 with the Xbox guys, and I'm sure, as they get more to PC, exploding PC gaming and Xbox One cross-play and all this stuff, I'm sure they'll use him for more than just Mixer. Would be my guess.
All right, I feel satisfied. I learned some things.
Who knows? I mean, look, there's a lot of stories where things like this haven't worked out. For all I know, some other guy will come up on Twitch because everyone's on Twitch, and Mixer will never. Think of how many Microsoft products they've dumped a ton of money into that never went anywhere.
Right.
So, and Mixer's
Xbox
been around for a
One.
while. It's not a new product. Mixer's been around for years. We're only hearing about it now.
I didn't know that.
Because, nobody used it. That's the idea. Sometimes you can buy your way into success, and sometimes you can't.
Fair enough.
Good story.
Good story. Okay, let's talk about... Here, I've got a taxonomy to propose. Ready?
Oh, boy.
Let's talk about all the money stories next.
Okay. Break it down.
We've got... We'll go top down. No, we'll go bottom up. All right. I'll do my next story. Tumblr sold again.
Again! And for a fraction of the price. We talked on this show back in 2017. So here we go. Yahoo bought Tumblr in 2013 for $1.1 billion. Verizon acquired it in 2017 for... This article, for some reason, does not say what it bought it for in 2017. Which is annoying. So now I'm going to have to look it up. But, oh no, they got it as part of the Yahoo acquisition, so it didn't have its own price. Verizon paid $4.5 billion for Yahoo, total. So think of it that way. But Verizon could never quite figure out what to do with Tumblr. There was a big controversy previously where they decided to ban adult content on the platform that we talked about previously on the show. That definitely hurt their user base. Verizon has now gone ahead and sold Tumblr for reportedly less than $3 million to Automatic, which is the company that owns WordPress. Apparently, they've indicated that they intend to keep Tumblr as is. They're not going to change anything immediately. So who knows exactly the future of Tumblr at this point.
Yeah. Well, once again, so... It seems like not only is on the one hand, getting acquired by Yahoo is kind of a death sentence, but on the other hand, if you get sold by Yahoo, you seem to end up in a kind of nice place. You got what's that website 200px, the like high-end photo people acquired Flickr, and now the WordPress people are applying Tumblr, which I think makes a lot of sense. So yeah, but Yahoo / Verizon certainly lost a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
A stunning amount, frankly.
I think the most striking part of this article for me was that I noticed the content of the URL, which is Tumblr-Verizon-Sold-WordPress-Blogging-Yahoo- adult
Wow, that's like an SEO like explosion. That's awesome.
That's my new band name.
content.
Catchy. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that's a whole other side story. Which, from what I understand, there are two parts of this. I don't entirely understand because I was never big in the Tumblr culture. But from what I understand, there's a lot of like fandom-y alternative content on Tumblr. And then when the I don't understand how this is related. There's the acts that were passed in Congress in 2017, I think, called SESTA and FOSTA, which, from what I understand, have something to do with like buying and selling, sex on the internet, but can't something to do with that act made Verizon then be like, well, we're just gonna like put like not allow any of such content on Tumblr, but in doing so, they cut out a lot of the diehards' favorite stuff because if it had female nipples showing, now it's not allowed, which is like a little bit over the top. But then WordPress not announced. Someone, the CEO of WordPress, said today that he was not looking to change that ruling. So I don't know if like there's a theory that because they blocked all those things, that's why all the people left Tumblr, and that's why the value of it went down. I don't know if that's true, but they are not looking to reverse that. So
Yeah, I mean, my prediction on this is that Tumblr is just a technology and an underlying platform they're buying, and eventually it will cease to exist as its own thing. I mean, I just don't. For all the complaint we say about Facebook and Instagram always changing, they have evolved with the time, and Tumblr really hasn't. Tumblr is what Tumblr's always been, for better or worse. And I don't see. I see the people who are there staying there, but I don't see people going back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
But $3 million is a bargain.
Yeah. I haven't been on Tumblr in, I don't know. I definitely had an account once.
That's cool.
Fun fact.
Get on there, see who's hanging out on Tumblr. I think if you log on, you probably up the value because you've doubled the active user base. So I thought that was a funny joke. Anyway, what's our next financial story, Dan?
All right. Next up then is Uber's little seat cushion change problem.
Uber, yes, the ride-sharing app. Maybe you've heard of it. Lost $5.2 billion in the last 3 months. Yes, with a B, $5.2 billion. That's one Tumblr. That's 5 Tumblrs worth. Back when it was worth $1 billion. Now it's interesting. The stock actually went up when they announced it, mostly because. Well, okay, so let me back up for a second here. Lyft also reported its earnings. They posted a loss of $644 million during the quarter, but some details here. What they actually lost, Uber actually lost only $656 million. There was a one-time stock-based compensation payments of 3.9, everyone cashing out their options, and they lost. And then when you adjust for EBITDA and things like that, it's not that much. Lyft lost $197 million.
Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Hey, there you go. Although sometime we got to start talking about pre-EBITDA, which is...
Whoa! Is that like pre-crime?
It's actually pre-bonus EBITDA. Not as fun.
Quick aside, I still haven't picked up on like where this came from, but a lot of people in the co-working space, not people I work with, have been talking a lot about pre-work recently. Pre-work.
Uh-huh.
And I don't understand what it is.
Is that like eating your breakfast in the morning? Pre-work?
It's like the work before work. Is it like the work you need to do to prepare for the next work? I don't know.
I don't know. Sounds like a buzzword to me.
Pre-work. Dan, you have to investigate this more. I don't understand what that is.
Can you report back? Ask around, but do it like real sly.
I'll do some investigative journalism. Yes, sidle up to the little spa water at the WeWork. Be like, whew, man, I had to do a lot of pre-work this morning.
That's
God, how about you?
What do you do for pre-work? You can do it. We believe in you. But what's interesting is after these major losses, both companies' stock was up, mainly because of the earnings. Lyft's earnings were up 72% from the year before, up to $876 million, beating an estimate of 60%. Uber's revenue was also growing, though at a slower rate, up 14%, $3.1 billion for the quarter. Yeah.
Well, interesting to know that those headlines about the $5 billion were a little dramatized.
I just find it interesting that there are a bunch of Uber employees walking around with $3.9 billion in their pockets.
Right.
We're in the wrong business, guys.
That's true.
Well, no, we're in the right business, Sean. What
no,
are you
two are in the right business.
Yeah. I mean, I guess none of us have to have working at Uber on our conscience, so.
No,
that's true.
That's true.
That's dirty money. Very dirty money.
Yeah. I don't know. Weird. It's weird. Those are still big numbers. I keep forgetting that they're both public companies now, too.
Yep.
They're allegedly for real.
Yeah, go figure. And the stock is up, so who knew? Guess the market doesn't mind. It just goes to show that the stock market is a stupid, stupid reference point, and it sucks that all of our financial well-being is tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I agree.
Anyhow.
All right.
What's next?
Next up,
we're plowing through
gonna
these.
Swing around, and this is only tangentially related, but let's talk about the Apple Card.
Apple Card. No, it's not a greeting, get well soon card you give to somebody who ate too many apples. No, it's the credit card from the Apple company. We talked about this at their spring announcement. They said it would arrive in August, and guess what? It's here. It's beginning a preview rollout, and it will become broadly available later this month. It's the new credit card in partnership with Goldman Sachs. Apple says a random selection of people who signed up to be notified about the card will be invited to sign up. The sign-up process requires iOS 12.4. You just have to enter your address, birthday, income level, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. That information is sent to Goldman Sachs, which will approve or decline your application in real time. It should take less than a minute. Once approved, your new card will show up in your Apple Wallet immediately and will be available for use. You can request the fancy titanium card for free during setup, and it will arrive in the mail later. So there you go. Well, once you're set up, you'll actually have 3 credit card numbers, a number assigned to your phone, a number assigned to the physical card, and a virtual number you can access in the app for online merchants that don't take Apple Pay. We talked a little bit about how this works earlier in the spring. Now, I have seen a few sort of influencer-type people who managed to get their hands on this early, and the biggest criticism is that the rates are out of control. People are getting hit with really high interest rates, even with pretty good credit. It goes up to 24% on the APR, as low as 13%.
Wow. Man, that's a lot of percents.
Is anyone going to take the Apple Card challenge? Is that its real name? Does it have an official name?
It is Apple Card.
Apple Card. Sorry, Apple Card. There's no the. There is no articles in Apple.
Nope. It's not
names.
the magic.
It's not the
iPhone,
magic
card.
iPhone.
Although it was
the magic card.
Wasn't it the new iPad for a while when they tried to drop the Air and the
new iPad, or was it just new iPad?
But see, new iPad sounds silly without the.
And just saying hey, I got my new. Check out new iPad. That's how they actually talk about it. If you listen to these Apple executives, they say, check out new iPad. New iPad is out now.
New iPad. We also have old iPad for less. That is weird.
So is anyone going to take the Apple? Sorry, is anyone going to take Apple Card challenge?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, because I don't. There's not enough of an. If I like didn't have a credit card at all, I would. But the reward rates are pretty mediocre. 3% cash back on any Apple transaction, Apple Store, App Store, all that. 2% on any Apple Pay transactions. 1% everywhere else. You know.
So I'm thinking about it because, like, all things considered, every couple of years I'm spending a couple $1,000s on Apple. Plus, I use Apple Pay a lot, and 2% is better than on average, without having to think about it, better than a lot of other credit cards. Like,
it depends.
Right. Like, you'll usually have like, oh, now it's like 3% or 5% cash back on this category this month. But then, like, the rest of it is, in my experience, usually around 1%.
Yeah, or you get the specialty card where it's always 2 or 3%, but on just entertainment or just flying or just groceries and household things,
Right.
or
Right.
Yeah, I guess if you're a heavy Apple Pay user, it does make sense. Like I said, the big question I'm trust you have a good credit score, Dan. I'd love to know what APR you get, because that's the big question mark for me. If I don't care how cool this is at 25%, that's bananas. They can't get away with that.
Yeah.
But I think you should.
Agreed.
I think that sounds great. And you got to get the fancy titanium card. I hear it's very nice.
Well, I don't know if I would at that point. Maybe I would just to have it, but...
Well, but it's cool because there's no credit card number on it.
Right.
It's just like a piece of metal that you just keep in your wallet.
Nondescript piece of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember when you talked about the first time being more interested than I feel right now. I don't know why that is.
It's that Apple keynote high that you had going.
Right.
That we all get sucked
about
into.
Everything else, yeah. I don't know. We'll see when it happens. We'll see. I use Apple Pay like a medium. I actually almost don't use Apple Pay very much at all because I have one of the credit cards that has the tappy thing built in now.
Nice.
Which is even easier than Apple Pay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Depends. Like, for me, like, it's in my wallet. It's kind of like a tight wallet. It's hard to get out.
I just have mine's in like the top slot in my wallet, so it's just.
All right. Well, then here, let me sell you on this, Colby. First of all, if you get in the habit of using it when you're in Europe, you don't have to sign for anything, which is
That's true.
Amazing. Secondly, they aren't getting your credit card number.
That's true. That's probably why I was excited about it. No, wait, that's true of all Apple Pay though, not
Right.
just this.
Yes.
Okay, Dan.
All right. I'm just saying.
Maybe I'll use Apple Pay again. It's just
My two favorite Apple products since the iPad, AirPods and Apple Pay.
I agree with AirPods. I still go to places that don't accept contactless payments.
Yeah, me too. But I don't know. For you, do you pay attention to the terminals that you use?
Do I what?
Pay attention to the payment terminals that you use? Because at this point, all the, even a diner has had to replace their terminal with one that accepts chip, and almost every single one of those accepts PIN. No?
Nope. I mean, the number one, I will just say the number one is gas stations. That's number one. There's no gas station on the planet that takes contactless payments, which is a pain in the ass.
That's so weird.
But, yes, I have been to
remember
small businesses that take credit cards but do not accept contactless payments.
Now, do they just say that, or does their terminal actually not accept them?
I've seen the terminals, and I would be surprised if they did.
But they do accept chip?
Sometimes.
See,
I've seen chip without contactless payments. Yes, I have.
All right.
No, I'm agreeing with you. But honestly, the number one thing I found, and this is true because I finally got Apple Pay working on my phone, and so I've been trying to use it more. And I totally agree with the security thing, but in terms of time savings, it takes exactly as long for me to pay with Apple Pay as it does with my credit card. Seriously, believe it or not.
Okay, no, I disagree. If you are using the chip, Apple Pay is faster.
Nope.
All right, you know what? We're gonna have a showdown here. I refuse to accept this. We need an impartial third
because
party.
it still has to take the time to process. It's not like it
it
instantly
goes
pays.
so much.
It doesn't,
Oh
though.
my
It's in your
God.
head. Because the phone's in your pocket and you're not thinking about standing there. You wait for it to process whether the card is in there or not. That's the thing that takes the time. It takes the same time for me to get the wallet out and the card in as it does to get the phone out, double tap, get the face thing, and then do it. I'm telling you, I swear to God. I'm not making this up.
We need to
I demand satisfaction.
Okay.
We need to do a science challenge. A scientific experiment.
I demand satisfaction.
Okay.
I'm going to look up on eBay. Can I get a credit card terminal right now?
We'll just get one of the Square terminals and,
There's an idea.
We'll have a little, or you and I, we'll go to like some side-by-side self-checkouts and we'll buy some gum or something and see what goes faster.
A race. I like
Square contactless and chip reader, $32.85.
Oh my God, worth every penny.
Oof.
But no, here's the thing. I feel like these are much faster for both. It's those chunky ones that are like, they're kind of designed to be handheld, but all the places in the United States just have them bolted to the side of the counter or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? They're way skinnier than the old credit card readers.
Yeah.
Those take forever with the chip. It's like, insert chip. Please wait. Please wait. Do not remove card. Do not remove card.
Truthfully, though, I don't see many of those. I see more of the traditional.
See those all over the place in New York.
Well, what places are you shopping at, Dan? What
Even
dark
CVS,
alleyways?
Which does have one of those big ones. It still takes forever with the chip.
No, because again.
All right, no.
Yeah, okay. We'll come back to this.
We have to follow up on this one.
Okay. Can you guess what the last money story is, Sean?
Here in our rundown, every story we talk about has some kind of money aspect, Dan, so I would love to know.
It's T-Mobile and Sprint get the okay.
They sure do. Let's talk about this. We've gone back and forth on the show for seems like years on this one. But the United States Justice Department has approved the $26 billion merger deal between T-Mobile and Sprint. It's ready to go. The FCC has already given their provisional okay on it as well. Here's how they got it done. So T-Mobile and Sprint will combine to create one carrier under the T-Mobile name. However, Dish, the television satellite company, will acquire Boost Mobile, Virgin Mobile, Sprint's prepaid business, and certain spectrum assets from the two companies. This will position Dish as the replacement fourth carrier in the U.S. that will be lost once T-Mobile and Sprint merge. Now, the two companies, Sprint and T-Mobile, will be required to provide at least 20,000 cell sites and hundreds of retail locations to Dish, and the satellite TV provider will get unfettered access to T-Mobile's network for 7 years as it works to build out a mobile network of its own using those acquired assets, plus spectrum Dish has already owned for years.
Twist.
Isn't it?
That's weird.
T-Mobile and Dish will also be required to support eSIM technology to make switching carriers easier.
eSIM.
It is likely, the deal is likely to be approved by the FCC, though that hasn't been done yet in an official vote, and it will likely be sued and go through the courts, so we'll see how long that takes, but at least the government has given its okay.
Who will sue?
I think already over a dozen state attorneys general have already filed a multi-state lawsuit to block the deal.
Oh, look at you using the correct plural.
It's the same thing they did when Time Warner and AT&T, when AT&T was trying to buy Time Warner. They did the same thing and failed.
Right.
So, yeah, that's the only way they could get away with the merger was creating a fourth carrier.
Yep. Do they... So wait, maybe I missed that part about the fourth carrier, but have they explained how they're going to resolve the fact that T-Mobile and Sprint use two completely different cell tower technologies? Like, you cannot use a T-Mobile phone on a Sprint network or vice versa? Sprint is more similar to Verizon.
No, they haven't come out and said it in that way, but their main argument has been in merging, we'll be able to roll out 5G faster, where it doesn't make a difference because they're rolling out a new network. I mean, it's
I don't
like I
understand
said,
that.
Dish has access to T-Mobile for 7 years. That gives you an idea of how long they think this merger is going to take to get 100% completely done, and for Dish
Right.
to be up and running.
I just want to know. I feel like my T-Mobile service has not been great recently. I
Oh.
don't know why. And if this will fix that, then great.
Theoretically, for me, the interesting thing is Dish, obviously, because we have an idea of the service T-Mobile and Sprint at least currently provide. The interesting thing about Dish is not only are they acquiring those cell sites, the retail locations, access to T-Mobile's network for 7 years, but Dish this was 5 or 10 years ago, bought a chunk of spectrum at one of the auctions, and everyone said, what does Dish want with it? And they just held on to it. And so I'm curious what sort of coverage they will be able to get, and what sort of technology because they're starting from scratch, what they'll be able to roll out, especially because they will own the Boost Mobile, Virgin Mobile names, as well as Sprint's prepaid business. So they'll have a foundation from which to build off of. Will you ever actually buy Dish branded phones? Will it have a different name? Will it be under a Boost Mobile or Virgin Mobile name? I have no idea. But to me, that's the big question, is what does Dish turn into? Because frankly, I agree with you, Colby. I don't know how they're going to merge T-Mobile and Sprint, and that might be a big opportunity for Dish if they dump a ton of money and effort into this thing, and to go past T-Mobile and Sprint if they can provide a better network faster.
Yeah.
Good sleuthing, Sean, or good memory.
With what?
Sean knows.
Oh, the Spectrum thing?
The Spectrum thing.
Dish has been wanting to get into cell phones for years. Years and years and years, and they never had a way to do it because just owning the spectrum isn't enough. It's just way too expensive to put up all the cell towers and build a brand from scratch. So they were itching to do this. And like I said, the Justice Department wasn't going to approve this only going down to 3 major carriers in the U.S. They just weren't. And so T-Mobile and Sprint basically had to beg Dish and give them all this stuff to become the 4th carrier. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if, like, something goes terribly wrong? Well, like, what if, like, Dish goes out of business or something in 3 years?
Well, they certainly could. I mean, anything's possible. Frankly, we live in an age where businesses are frankly too big to fail. So I agree with you, surprised. But this does bring back some memories of, and this was a little bit before our time, but the Sprint Nextel merger years and years and years ago. 2 companies with completely different technologies in their systems, and they wrote off billions on that deal, and it took them a decade to get out from under the disaster of trying to merge those networks together. It was a terrible merger. So could this end up like that? Who knows? But we'll have to see. I'm not surprised they're keeping the T-Mobile name. I think that's got more cachet in the U.S. at the moment than Sprint.
Yeah.
And
in other places.
The interesting thing,
I don't think Sprint is in any other countries, but T-Mobile definitely is.
Right. The interesting thing to me is I don't know why Dish just didn't buy Sprint. That tells me there's something maybe sketchy about Sprint that Dish thinks it would be easier to just go off and do it on their own. So.
Fascinating.
Will be interesting to see. Will be very interesting to see. Okay. Any other stories we really want to get to here, guys? Or should we move on to picks?
Let's move on.
Rolling on over to picks. Lots of great news. Thanks, everybody, for chiming in. Zach left some nice comments in the Twitch chat, but we're on such a delay that it doesn't matter what he said. Thank you for commenting anyway. Way too late for that.
It matters.
It doesn't matter. Your comments are useless. Day late and $1 short. Let's do some picks here. I'll go first because I am picking a beverage. Have you guys had Spindrift before?
I have.
Oh.
So I've talked previously about I'm trying to be better about my diet. And one of the issues I have is I like soda. Soda is tasty, and I like it. It's bubbly, and it's sweet, and it's cold, and it's in a can, and I like it. It's the same with beer. I like those things, and I'm trying to replace them with something healthier. I don't like flavored sparkling water because the flavoring is really artificial tasting, and I don't care for it because it says it tastes like lemon lime, but it doesn't. It tastes like lemon lime syrup, and I don't want that. So I found Spindrift, which it's new and it's catching on. You can get it in most supermarkets. That's what I've been drinking this evening is my little Spindrift right here.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, it's sparkling water, but with real fruit juice in it. It's not flavoring. It's real. It's like, depending on what flavor you get, it's anywhere from 3 to 7% actual fruit juice. The variety I'm having this evening is the half tea, half lemon, Arnold Palmer style. The lemon is great. The grapefruit is very good. Most of the flavors are good. But what's wonderful is each can is anywhere from 0 to, I think, 9 calories at the most. Usually 0 sugars, certainly 0 added sugars. It's just tasty, sparkling water that tastes better than the artificially flavored stuff. So if you're looking for an different beverage to mix up your beverage routine, it's cold, it's bubbly, it's a little bit sweet, it's in a can. It's like soda, but good for you. It's Spindrift. Get it at a store near you. The lemon is probably my favorite, followed by the grapefruit. If you're looking for a place to start, those are really great.
Hmm.
And they've got like 8 flavors.
I've had this this has been around like your like artisanal sandwich shops and things in the Boston area for several years now. I remember trying it for the first time and expecting seltzer and getting
not seltzer.
Yeah, like a different thing. And I was sort of upset by it the first time.
How would you describe the taste?
It's just like, it's not like seltzer water with flavoring. It's like sort of like a thing. It's good. It's a similar to seltzer water in that it's a very muted like flavor. It's not like
it doesn't taste like fruit juice. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't taste like juice. It doesn't taste like a soda. But it tastes more. It tastes closer to juice than seltzer does. But yeah, I think I've had it a couple of times recently, and it is growing on me. I tried the lemon one, and I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember what the first one I had was. It was probably the grapefruit or the blackberry, maybe.
Yeah, the blackberry and the cran raspberry are a little bit stronger. Don't do the lemon or the lime. I'm sorry, don't do the lime. It's got no lime flavor in it. That's my hot take.
What?
It genuinely did not taste of lime. It was a big miss in my mind. But all the other ones I've tried are good. I haven't got my hands on the cucumber one. It's hard to find. If anyone has a tip, let me know. But you can get it in Stop and Shop now. I mean, you can get it in most supermarkets. So
cool.
Check that out.
Maybe I'll have to purchase some.
Give it a shot.
What I really need is a variety pack of this.
Well, you know what I did was to try it out. I just bought one of every flavor. I looked like a lunatic carrying out one of every flavor. But I want to try them all. And I did.
Like a case of every flavor?
Yeah, one case of every flavor. So I know what I like and don't
I thought
like.
you meant one can.
Oh, like I opened each box and took out a... No. They come in 8 packs. 1 8-pack of each flavor. Of all, 10 flavors.
God.
Yep. My fridge looks insane. Okay, Colby. What are you picking? Look at these.
I got these... Eufy. Is that how you say that? Eufy?
I think so.
Eufy nightlight things, which a friend of the show, Emily's roommate, got some version of them for their apartment. So that's how I found out about them. But the thing that's great about them is, A, they have a light sensor, so they only turn on when it is dark in whatever space they are in. And B, they have a motion sensor, so they only turn on when something is moving in the area of the nightlight. So, for example, I put one in my bathroom, and, if I get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, I don't have to turn on any lights, because as soon as I walk in, this thing turns on. I'm in there for some small amount of time, and I leave, and it turns off when I leave. It's great. I also put one in my closet. It's delightful. I got the stick-on battery-powered ones. Allegedly, 2 AAA batteries power it for about a year. I would assume that depends on how much you are triggering it to go on and off, but I can report back later on how true that is. There is also a plug-in one, so if it's going in your bathroom, you have a plug, or a hallway and there's a plug or something, you can just plug it in and it'll work indefinitely, I assume. Yeah, it's been great so far though. They come with little 3M wall stickers attached to them, so if you want to just stick them on the wall, It's no problem. Yeah, I'm pleased with that purchase. I have a third one. I got a 3-pack of them. I have a third one that I haven't decided what to do with.
So
Put it in someone else's apartment.
Yeah, maybe.
That's great. If you have suggestions where Colby can put his motion sensor light, tweet at us. Use the hashtag blinded by the light.
Put it above someone's bed that you really don't like.
Or put it under the bed of somebody you don't like.
But then when you're laying in bed, you wouldn't know that it was on. Maybe that's.
I will say my favorite feature of my Nest smoke alarm is that it lights up when I walk under it. So I do love this idea. I will probably get some of these. These are great.
Delightful.
Because I can look from bed and see when the cat's walking up and down the hallway because he sets off the motion sensor.
Do you want that though?
Very cool. I do, because I want to know when he's approaching. I don't hear him when he jumps up on the bed and then I roll over on top of him. It's not good. He doesn't like that. Yeah, the Luffy stick-on night lights. We'll have the link on our website. Dan, take us home.
Well, I just want to say, Sean, that American Express has reported that contactless transactions are 63% faster on average than cash and 53% faster than using a traditional credit card. So,
wait, the credit card company said credit cards are faster? What? Stop the presses.
They must be talking about the card tapping contactless
mobile
payments.
wallets are generally much faster than the chip, says the New York Times.
All these models.
That rag. Yeah,
right. Anyways, I was sick last week. Was it last week? Was it the week before? I don't remember. It's all a blur. And my way I treat myself when I'm sick is I watch documentaries. And one of the documentaries I watched was the Netflix Fire Festival documentary, which I knew the outcome of the Fire Festival, and I thought, I didn't know anything else about it. I don't know how much other people generally know about it, but this one was like pretty eye-opening, just like the history of the company that put it on and where the CEO came from and his whole backstory and the different people that were involved in it, all the people who said it was a terrible idea. And then, of course, some on-the-scenes things of what happened when people got there. It was really good. I heard it wasn't that good, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So check out Fire, the Greatest Party That Never Happened on Netflix.
Now, are you going to watch the Hulu one and compare them?
No, I don't know. From what I read about the Hulu one afterwards, and it seemed to me like it wouldn't be as good. Because it didn't have as much interviews and exclusive footage. But maybe I will. The last Handmaid's Tale is this week, so my Hulu subscription is on thin ice. So maybe that'll keep it going.
Squeeze it in there. Cool. All right. Fire. You can get that on Netflix. The link to that and all of our picks will be on our website. You can check it out. Don'tPanic.io. When this one goes live. Guys, anything else this evening you would like to say to the world?
No.
Stay frosty.
Very forceful in that. Quickly, before I plug our own show, I do want to plug one other show, Up for Debate. We just published a new episode this week. We're back after our Rapid Fire July, and we're returning. If you listen to our previous Summer Book Club episode, Matt and I each picked a book for the other person to read. Matt chose the book I recommended, which was Bill Bryson's One Summer, America 1927. We both read it, and on this week's episode, we talk about it. And guys, I gotta tell you, 1927, what a year. We got Al Capone, we got Babe Ruth, we got Charles Lindbergh, we've got the Talking Pictures. Guys, so much going on. It's a great book, and we spent an hour talking about it. If you haven't read the book, go read it, then listen to this week's episode. It's at upfordebate.tv, or wherever you get podcasts, just search for Up for Debate. And we're already planning our next Up for Debate Presents coming this fall, which will be fun, our next big series. This show, our website, of course, is don'tpanic.io. You can get there and go there, get all the episodes, the audio, the video, the pics are all there. It's a wonderful website. You should check it out. You can subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Spotify, you name it, we're there. You can also follow us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter and email us don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. And as I mentioned, live Monday nights about 10:15 Eastern on Twitch and Facebook. That's going to do it for this episode. We're going to be back with more tech news next time. But until then, on behalf of Colby and Dan, I am Sean. Thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you next time for another Don't Panic.